Location and quality of life. This is one of my favorites because there are some important things to consider. Number one is you want to be happy wherever you are. You got to enjoy it because you're going to be spending time there. On the other hand, you're only going to be spending some time there, a little bit of time there. And you might be able to put up with not very great things. I think it's easier for a master's degree because if you're only going to be there 2 years, if you're going to be there 4 or 5 or 6, as is common for your PhD, then you kind of have to enjoy the area a little bit more because that's a significant amount of your life. But maybe the most important thing for this is thinking of location more in terms of what are my chances of getting in? East Coast and West Coast are usually where people want to go. They want to go to New York City. They want to go to Boston. They want to go to California. Okay? They want to go to Oregon. Maybe they want to go to Florida to, hang out at the beach and those kind of things. So the East Coast and West Coast, people love them. As a result, those programs get a lot more applications. So think about it. If you go to a place that has 500 applications, by the way, the average is a little over 200 applications per place. Some are a little bit less, obviously. A few are a lot more. Like a UCLA might get 800 applications for their clinical psych program. Okay? Some of these programs will accept very few. Our program at SMU, it's a small program. It's not unusual for us to accept 4 people. We've accepted as much as 8, but usually it's like 4 or 5. And we're going to get 175, 180 applications, right? So think about that in terms of percentage. Now, I'm going to talk about percentages later, and it's actually a better chance of getting in depending upon whether you do what I suggest you do. If you don't apply to enough schools, then you're going to be in trouble and your chances will be down there really low. But if you apply to enough schools, it's actually a lot higher. But any given school, it might be as low as a couple percent. And the average is about a 6% chance, okay, for a doctoral program. It's a lot higher. It's about 4 or 5 times higher for a master's level program to get into, just on any given program. Again, that's why you never apply to just one program. But it's going to be much lower chance for the East Coast or the West Coast because people want to go there. So again, you have 200 applicants and they accept 5 people as compared to 100 applicants and 5 people, right? It's just a much better chance. And so think Midwest. Why? Because I often tell my students here at in Dallas is I say, take a V from, the middle of Texas somewhere, and then do a V up to like over to, eastward to maybe Ohio or so, and then maybe westward over Wyoming kind of thing. And I'm just, it's just this big V that takes the big chunk out of the middle of the US. Why? They got some great universities in there. Great. You're going to find really good ones, but they don't get as many applications, right? People don't immediately go, well, I'm going to apply to University of Montana. Why? Well, it doesn't rank high on US News and World Report. A lot of people go, Montana, I want a big city. I want someplace where absolutely, those are all reasonable questions for you to ask. On the other hand, not getting as many applications as they're going to at UCLA, right? Or, Harvard or, Boston University or something like that. They're going to get a ton of applications because everybody wants to go to those. Fewer want to go to these in the Midwest, partly because of the image of, do I want to live there? I'd like to live in a bustling, fun city, or I'd like to live by the water, and so I'm going to live by the ocean down in Miami or whatever that. Think of those middle places. Do not discount middle America. There are schools you might not think about that are fabulous schools, even really some highly ranked ones if you care about the rankings, but just some great schools. And they just don't get as many applications. So consider that when you're applying. And it doesn't make any difference which field it is. And for doctoral people, I've found they're more likely to want to travel far away anywhere, and certainly because they have to in many cases. They have no choice. There's no good doctoral programs right where they are, so they have to travel to different states. Master's level people, I found less likely to travel. They're more likely to look in their general area. But if you got to go to graduate school, you got to live someplace for 2 years, consider that. So sometimes the location can help you. Okay. You do have to think about quality of life. If you can't live, if you just absolutely hate living, in a town versus a big city and you have to have a big city, okay, I understand that. But don't toss out the possibility of maybe a town that's not too far away from a city you could get into for getting your city fix.